Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Saturday night final of the 2024 Wilton Wahoo Winter Invite. Please rise and direct your attention to the center of the pool for our national anthem. And first up this evening, we got event 113, the girls 13 and over 400 meter freestyle. This is heat 1 of the time finals. Madam Referee. Swimming in heat 1 of event 113, the girls 13 and over 400 meter freestyle. In lane 1, Molly Simmons from Rack. Lane 2, Wes Bull from Wahoos. Lane 3, Bella Zarolo from What. Lane 4, Sarah Omar from What. Lane 5, Jasmine Johnson from Charter Oak. And lane 6, Alana Ward from Rack. And I'll say what we're all thinking. This pool looks longer tonight. At the 100 mark, it's Bella Zarolo from What in lane 3, who's going to turn first, closely pursued by Sarah Omar from What and Wes Bull from Wahoos. In lane 3, we got Bella maintaining about a body length and a half lead over Wes Bull from Wahoos. Sarah Omar still in the hunt. And Bella turning first with a 2:22.12 at the 200 mark. Coming into 300, Bella Zarula from What is extending her lead. Keep in mind, this is a time final, folks. So she is setting the pace for the entire field for the event tonight. And she touches first at 3:36.88. Bella Zarula's got to take this one. We've got Sarah Omar and West Bull fighting it off for second. Who's going to close? Who's going to finish strong for this 400 freestyle? And finishing first, Bella Zarula with a 4:52.04. That's the time to beat for the second heat. West Bull finishes second with a 4:57.84. And Sarah Omar is third with a 5 minutes, 24 hundredths. This is heat 2 of event 113, the girls 13 and over 400 meter freestyle. Madam Referee. Swimming in heat 2 of the time final for event 113, the girls 13 and over 400 meter freestyle. In lane 1, Bridget Kelly from Rack. Lane 2, Miriam Yule from What. Lane 3, Lila Strober from Charter Oak. Lane 4, Ava Ward from Rack. Lane 5, Amelia Peterson from Charter Oak. And lane 6, Megan Joe from What. Ava Ward setting a gutsy pace, coming in for the 100 with a 1:05.08. That is aggressive for a 400 meter swim. Let's see how she holds on. And at the halfway point, Ava Ward from Rack is going to touch first for the 200, followed by Lila Strober from Charter Oak. And Ava Ward's touching with a 2:15.48. Lila Strober not far behind with a 2:17.43. Miriam Yule in third from what? At the 300, Lila Strober is trying to make a move here. Ava Ward still about a half a length ahead. Ava Ward still out in front with a 3:26.18, followed by Lila Strober as we head into the last 100 of this race. And as we come down, final 50 of this 400-meter freestyle, Ava Ward, no sense of flagging here. Pursued by Lila Strober, but Ava's going to touch first. And Ava Ward touches first with a 4:33.57, followed by Lila Strober with a 4:36.33. Next up, we've got event 114, the boys 13 and over 400-meter freestyle. We have 2 heats of time finals. Heat 1, Madam Referee. Swimming in Heat 1 of our time finals for event 114, the boys 13 and over 400-meter freestyle. In lane 1, Ethan Lamb from the Wahoos. Lane 2, Matthew Kroll from What? Lane 3, Robert Riccobon from What? Lane 4, AJ Yee from Wahoos. Lane 5, Teddy Westcott from Ridgefield. Lane 6, Ozzie Andrews from Wahoos. And it's Robert Riccobon from What? Touching first with a 1:04.15, followed by Ozzie Andrews, 1:05.29 in lane 6. Robert Ricobon from what is pulling ahead at the 200 mark, halfway through this race. And he's got about a 2-length lead over Ozzie Andrews in lane 6 from Wahoo's. He's touching first with a 2:12.35. Andrews in lane 6 with a 2:16.21. AJ Yee and Ethan Lamb fighting it out for third. At the 300, Robert Ricobon from what is going to touch first. And it's Andrews and Yee fighting it out for second place. Ricobon touching first with a 3:22.13. Finishing first for the boys 13 and over 400 freestyle is Robert Ricobon with a 4:30.93. And coming in second, AJ Yee, followed closely by Ethan Lamb and Ozzie Andrews. This is the second heat of our time finals for event 114, the boys 13 and over 400 meter freestyle. Heat 2, Madam Referee. Swimming in Heat 2, our time finals for event 114, the boys 13 and over 400 meter freestyle. In lane 1, Aiden Polisi from Rack. Lane 2, Will Trotman from Rack. Lane 3, Jack Clancy from Rack. Lane 4, Andrew Valini from what? Lane 5, Stefan Weber from Rack. And lane 6, Max Weber from Rack. Jack Clancy galloping out to an early lead in the 400 free here. Touching first with a 57.34. All right, let's see how he does with the other 300. Jack Clancy out to a very quick 200 freestyle with a 1:59.19. Keep in mind, folks, this is long course meters, and he just went sub 2 minutes for his 200. That's going fast. At the 300 mark, Jack Clancy still rocking it with a 3:03.70. And touching first for the boys, 13 and over, 400 freestyle. That's Jack Clancy with a 4:08 flat. Coming in second, we got his teammates, Will Trotman from Rack, touching with a 4:28.83, and Aiden Polisi from Rack, a 4:32.68. Next up, the consolation final for event 45, the girls, 11-12, 200 meter IM. Madam Referee. Swimming in the consolation final for event 45, the girls, 11-12, 200 IM. In lane 1, Olivia Johnson from Wahoo's. Lane 2, Chloe Highland from Wahoo's. Lane 3, Nelly Zarolo from What? Lane 4, Madison Devine from Wahoo's. Lane 5, Carolyn O'Grady from Wahoo's. And lane 6, Sterling Ford from Wahoo's. At the butterfly, Nelly Zarolo from What is touching first with a 39.16. And Olivia Johnson, sorry, right ahead of her. Outside smoke from Olivia Johnson in lane 1. Sorry about that. 39.03 is the fastest in the field. On the backstroke, we got Carolyn O'Grady creeping ahead here. Anything can change in the 200 IM, folks. And at the backstroke, halfway through, it's Carolyn O'Grady touching first, followed by Nelly Zarullo and Olivia Johnson. Down to the breaststroke. And Zarullo is back ahead with a strong breaststroke, but Caroline O'Grady is right on her heels. Coming down to the last 50 of freestyle. Let's see who's got it in them. And Nelly Zarullo is going to touch first with a 2:58.42, followed by Carolyn O'Grady in lane 5 from Wahoo's with a 3:01.44. This is the championship final of event 45, the girls 11-12 200 meter IM. Madam Referee. Swimming in the championship final of event 45, the girls 11-12 200 meter IM. In lane 1, Sadie Rubin from Charter Oak. Lane 2, Sophia Milak from Rack. Lane 3, Olivia Maltz from Wahoo's. Lane 4, Viv Volnek from What. Lane 5, Delaney Gorlnick from Rack. And lane 6, Kayla Eckhoff from Rack. Olivia Maltz and Viv Volnek neck and neck at the butterfly going into the backstroke. And it's Volnek slightly ahead of Maltz as we come into the halfway point. They got to dig deep for this breaststroke. They got one pullout. Who's going to make it better? Volnek from What with a fantastic breaststroke. Looks like she's about a length ahead of Maltz, but don't count Olivia out yet. She is gaining. And it's Viv Volnek taking it for the girls 11-12, 200 IM with a 239.19, followed by Olivia Maltz with a 242.29. Next up, the consolation finals for event 46, the boys 11-12, 200 meter IM. Madam Referee. Swimming in the consolation final of event 46, the boys 11-12, 200 meter IM. In lane 1, Alistair Libertine from Wahoos. Lane 2, Liam King from Rack. Lane 3, Eddie Allard from Wahoos. Lane 4, Andreas Sid from Rack. Lane 5, Ryan Majano from Wahoos. And lane 6, Evan Zhu from What? And it's Liam King from Rack touching first, going into the backstroke, followed by Andreas Sid from Rack. Liam King a little bit ahead of the pack, but chased by Eddie Illard from Wahoos, who's having a great backstroke. There goes Eddie, followed closely by Andreas. They are neck and neck. And it's Liam King from Rack, Eddie Illard from Wahoos, and Andreas Sid from Rack. Neck and neck. And don't forget about Evan Zhu in lane 6. Eddie Illard and Evan Zhu from lane 6 going to battle it out in the freestyle here, closely followed by Liam King and Andreas Sid. Eddie's dropping in the legs here. He's got a finishing kick, looking strong, coming into the last 25 meters or so of this 200 IM. And it's Eddie Illard pulling away from the Wahoos. He's going to touch first with a 2:18.01. This is the championship final of event 46, the boys 11-12, 200 meter IM. Madam Referee. Swimming in the championship final of event 46, the boys 11-12, 200 meter IM. In lane 1, Nick Winslow from Wahoo. Lane 2, Ivan Turyan from Charter Oak. Lane 3, Gabriel Nazarchuk from What? Lane 4, Henry Ginby from Wahoos. Lane 5, Max Farabee from Rack. And lane 6, Marco Kovac from What? Gabriel Nazarchuk from What is touching first, going into the backstroke. At the 100 mark, Gabriel Nazrzak from What is going to touch first. Followed closely by the rest of the pack. Henry Gimby touching third. Max Farabee touching second. It's neck and neck going into the breaststroke. Here comes Gimby and Farabee. It's a dead heat through the breaststroke. Wow, they're within a second of each other. Gimby, Nazrzak, and Farabee racing back. Who's got the final kick in this 50-meter freestyle to close off this 200 IM? Gabriel Nazrzak digging deep. Can Gimby catch up? And Gabriel Nazrzak from What touching first with a 2:41.07, followed by Henry Gimby from Wahoo's from 2:41.10. Next up, the consolation final of event 21, the girls 13-1400 meter breaststroke. Madam Referee. Swimming at event 21, the consolation heat. The girls 13-1400 meter breaststroke. In lane 1, Valeria Flores from Wahoo's. Lane 2, Alyssa Bai from Wahoo's. Lane 3, Alana Ward from Rack. Lane 4, Ella Hartley from Charter Oak. Lane 5, Lily Caliguri from Rack. And lane 6, Iris Kent from Rack. Touching first at the wall, it's Ella Hartley from Oak, followed closely by Alana Ward from Rack. Alana Ward and Ella Hartley are neck and neck here, coming down to the wire for the 100 breaststroke. It's breaststroke, so they can hear you. Let's send them home, folks. And at the finish, it's Ella Hartley from Oak finishing with a 136.02. Closely touching out Alana Ward from Rack with a 136.13. Next up is the championship final of event 21, the girls 13-1400 meter breaststroke. Madam Referee. Swimming in the championship final of event 21, the girls 13-1400 meter breaststroke. In lane 1, Marley Druna from Charter Oak. Lane 2, Taylor Baloney from Rack. Lane 3, Dahlia Katra from Rack. Lane 4, Ria Londano from Wilton. Lane 5, Lauren Crawford from Rack. And lane 6, Sarah Horton from Wahoos. Touching first, lane 6, Sarah Horton. Out in a 40-40. Closely followed by Dahlia Katra from Rack in lane 3. Right now it's Horton and Katra. Dahlia Katra, though, taking a commanding lead in the second 50. Coming home strong. She's going to touch first with a 1:23.28. Now it's between Horton and Londano, and it's Horton who touches out Londano with a 1:28.99. Next up is the consolation final of event 22, the boys 13-1400 meter breaststroke. Madam Referee. Swimming in the consolation final of event 22, the boys 13-1400 meter breaststroke. In lane 1, Roque De Cristofaro from What? Lane 2, Connor Faga from What? Lane 3, Kostas Rakavicius from What? Lane 4, Dylan Isakoff from What? Lane 5, Jonathan Simmons from Rack. And lane 6, Matt Kelly from Rack. And touching first at the 50, it's Connor Faga from What, followed closely by Kostas Rakavicius from What, and Dylan Isakoff from What. Too close to call right now. It's teammates Faga, Rakavicius, and Isakoff coming in hot. Who's going to have the finishing kick here in the 100 breaststroke? And it's Dylan Isakoff touching first with a 126.78, followed by Connor Faga with a 127.13. This is the championship final of event 22, the boys 13-1400 meter breaststroke. Madam Referee. Swimming in the championship final of event 22, the boys 13-1400 meter breaststroke. In lane 1, Matthew Kroll from What? Lane 2, Harry Zhao from Wahoos. Lane 3, Liam Gorelnick from Rack. Lane 4, Nicholas Turian from What? Lane 5, Neil Kelly from Ridgefield. And lane 6, Stingray Sanchez from Wilton. It's Harry Zhao touching first, followed by Nicholas Turin and Liam Gorelnik. Harry's looking strong, coming off the wall into the second 50 of this 100 breaststroke. The 25 left, it looks like Harry Zhao is out to a slight lead over Nicholas Turin from What, who's gaining. Can Harry hold him off? Looks like Nicholas has got to kick himself. Nicholas turning it on at the end here. Nicholas Turin from What? He's going to touch out Harry Zhao with a 120.18, followed by Harry Zhao, 121.16, and Liam Gorelnik, 122 flats. Next up is the consolation final for event 23, the girls 15 and over, 100-meter breaststroke. Madam Referee. In the consolation final of event 23, the girls 15 and over, 100-meter breaststroke. In lane 2, Anya Garg from What? Lane 3, Megan Lucier from Wahoos. Lane 4, Lily Wagner from Rack. And lane 5, Sarah West from Wahoos. It's Megan Lucier touching first with a 43.63 at the 50, followed by Sarah West with a 44.66. Megan's turning on the speed into the last 25 here of the girls 15 and over 100 breaststroke. It's Megan Lucier. And touching first with a 132.01. It's Megan Lucier from the Wahoos. This is the championship final of event 23, the girls 15 and over 100-meter breaststroke. Madam Referee. Swimming in the championship final of event 23, the girls 15 and over 100-meter breaststroke. In lane 1, Mackenzie Gray from Wahoos. Lane 2, Bridget Kelly from Rack. Lane 3, Abigail King from Rack. Lane 4, Jenny Liu from What? Lane 5, Maya Cruiser from Wahoos. And lane 6, Teresa Silveri from Rack. It's Abigail King with a slight lead over Jenny Liu. Can she hold on? Yes, Abigail King touching first with a 117.77, followed by Jenny Liu with a 118.45. Next up is the consolation final of event 24, the boys 15 and over 100-meter breaststroke. Madam Referee. Swimming in the consolation final of event 24, the boys 15 and over 100-meter breaststroke. In lane 1, Sam Jacobson from Wahoos. Lane 2, Gavin Lamb from Wahoos. Lane 3, Jake Mercer from Wahoos. Lane 4, Eric Ding from Wahoos. Lane 5, Mason Rubin from Charter Oak. And lane 6, Rocco Guglielmo from Charter Oak. It looks like Jake Mercer, closely followed by Eric Ding and Gavin Lamb. But don't forget about Mason Rubin. Jake Mercer is going to touch first. Second is anybody's game right now. Jake Mercer touching first with a 1:20.20. Mason Rubin touching second with a 1:22.35. This is the championship final of event 24, the boys 15 and over 100-meter breaststroke. Madam Referee. Swimming in the championship final of event 24, the boys 15 and over 100-meter breaststroke. In lane 1, Tommy Lucier. In lane 2, Derek Yin. Lane 3, Stefan Weber from Rack. Lane 4, Jake Rosen from Rack. Lane 5, AJ Yee from Wahoos. And lane 6, Hirsch Iyer from Wahoos. It's Stefan Weber from Rack coming in hot for the last 25 of this 100-meter breaststroke. Followed closely by Jake Rosen, also from Rack. And Stefan Weber's going to touch first with a 1:11.05. Jake Rosen's going to touch second with a 1:14.77. And Hirsch Iyer taking third with a 1:17.62. Next up is the consolation final of event 49, the girls 11-12 100-meter breaststroke. Madam Referee. Swimming in the consolation final of event 49, the girls 11-12 100-meter breaststroke. In lane 1, Sophia Weber from Rack. Lane 2, Mariella Lecomte from Orca. Lane 3, Nelly Zarolo from What. Lane 4, Lily Bender from Rack. Lane 5, Abby Kazmerkak from Wahoos. And lane 6, Kayla Eckhoff from Rack. Touching first from Orca, Marie Lecomte from Orca, yeah. Followed closely by Abby Kazmierzak. Coming back though, whole bunch of swimmers with that second half here. Too close to call. Marie is still out in front, but Nelly Zarolo and Lily Bender are right there with her. And it looks like Nelly is turning on the burners here. It's neck and neck between lanes 2 and 3. Nelly Zarolo from What and Marie Lecomte from Orca. Don't forget about Lily Bender from Rack. And taking the heat with a 137.67. That's Nelly Zarolo. This is the championship final of event 49, the girls 11-12 100-meter breaststroke. Madam Referee. Swimming in the championship final of event 49, the girls 11-12 100-meter breaststroke. In lane 1, Summer Miller from What? Lane 2, Chloe Highland from Wahoo's. Lane 3, Vivian Walsh from Wahoo's. Lane 4, Charlie Palmer from Rock. Lane 5, Mary Kelly from Rack. And lane 6, Catherine Grant from What? And it's Vivian Walsh out with a strong lead. Lane 3 from the Wahoos. And Vivian Walsh with a 1:21.02. Next up, the consolation final of event 50, the boys 11-12 100-meter breaststroke. Madam Referee. We have the first alternate, Jake Howe from the Fairfield YMCA. Nope. We have the second alternate, Alex Shihu from Rack. All right, Alex. It's a 100-meter breaststroke. Swimming in the consolation final of event 50, the boys 11-12 100-meter breaststroke. In lane 1, Roman Goisan from Orca. Lane 2, Riley Peabody from Wahoo's. Lane 3, Garrett Jeschke from Wahoo's. Lane 4, Brandon Adoli from Orca. Lane 5, Marcus Parker from What? And lane 6, Alex Shihu from Rack. It's Garrett Jeschke. Turn on the burners. Pulling out to a commanding lead. And touching first with a 141.02, Garrett Jeschke. Next up, the championship finals of event 50, the boys 11-1200 meter breaststroke. Madam Referee. Swimming the championship final of event 50, the boys 11-1200 meter breaststroke. In lane 1, Evan Zhu from Watt. Lane 2, Eddie Ellard from Wahoos. Lane 3, Matthew Cunningham from Wahoos. Lane 4, Marco Kovac from Watt. Lane 5, Andreas Sid from Rack. Lane 6, Yihan Liu from Wahoos. Cunningham and Kovac turning first at the 50. And touching first, it's Matthew Cunningham with a 122.52. We're going to take a 5-minute break before the start of the next event. The pool is open. There was some talk of a game of Marco Polo. Next up, the championship final of event 25, the girls 13-14 200-meter butterfly. Madam Referee. Swimming in the final heat of event 25, the girls 13-14 200-meter butterfly. In lane 2, West Bull from Wahoos. Lane 3, Marie Luman from Rack. Lane 4, Mishka Kovac from What. And lane 5, Sophie Liang from Charter Oak. Coming into the first 100, it's Marie Luman from Rack. Out to about a 2-length lead. I bet you're all wondering, what are these girls thinking right now? And the answer is, wasn't this pool shorter this morning? It's Marie Luman from WAC who's going to take this, followed by West Bull. Finishing with a gutsy 2:42.35 is Marie Luman from Rack, followed by West Bull with a 2:47.77. Next up is the championship final of event 26, the boys 13-14 200-meter butterfly. Madam Referee. Swimming in event 26, the boys 13-14 200-meter butterfly. In lane 1, Kale Strober from Charter Oak. Lane 2, Christopher Prills from Rock. Lane 3, Max Weber from Rack. Lane 4, Griffin Rebling from Rack. Lane 5, James Hill from What. And lane 6, Quinn McCoy from Rack. It's Max Weber from Rack coming in at the 100 mark. Ahead of Christopher Prills and Griff Rebling. At the 100, Max Weber from Rack going to 110.92. Max Weber still out to a commanding lead. Looks like he's turning it over faster. He's far from out of steam here. And winning the event with a 2:27.97, it's Max Weber from Rack. Christopher Perillo's touching second with a 2:42.75, and Griff Ribbling 2:49.16. Next up is the consolation final of event 27, the girls 15 and over 200-meter butterfly. Madam Referee. Swimming the consolation final of event 27, the girls 15 and over 200-meter fly. In lane 2, Molly Simmons from Rack. Lane 3, Sarah Omar from What? And lane 4, Jasmine Johnson from Charter Oak. Turning at the 100. Whoa. 100th of a second apart is Molly Simmons from Rack and Sarah Omar from What? Battling it out. Molly Simmons from Rack in lane 2 with a slight lead of Sarah Omar from What? Let's bring them home, folks. This is a 200 fly, a long course 200 fly. And Molly Simmons from Rack is going to finish first with a 250.77. Next up is the finals for event 27, the girls 15 and over 200 meter butterfly. Madam Referee. Swimming the championship final of event 27, the girls 15 and over 200 meter butterfly. In lane 1, Ruthie Riccobone from What? Lane 2, Charlotte Sorensen from What? Lane 3, Lila Strober from Charter Oak. Lane 4, Erin Richards from Farmington Valley. Lane 5, Maggie Peterson from Charter Oak. And lane 6, Megan Joe from What? Coming into the 100, it's Erin Richards from Farmington Valley and Lila Strober from Charter Oak. Strober with a slight edge over Richards, but it is close, folks. 0.2 separate them. Richards gaining some ground with a great underwater, but Strober is right on her tail. They are neck and neck in the third 50 of this 200 butterfly. And it's Strober with the lead. Richard with a good underwater again, but underwater count for less because this is long course, folks. This is long course. One of the gutsiest events of the evening, the long course 200 fly. Did I mention this was long course? And touching first is going to be Lila Strober with a 224.43. Erin Richards coming in second with a 228.31. Next up, the championship final of event 28, the boys 15 and over 200 meter butterfly. Madam Referee. Swimming in the championship final of event 28, the boys 15 and over 200 meter butterfly. In lane 1, Robert Riccobone from What? Lane 2, Lucas Fontana from Wahoo's. Lane 3, Jack Clancy from Rack. Lane 4, Will Trotman from Rack. And lane 5, Connor Zhu from Wahoo's. It's Jack Clancy from Rack out to a commanding lead again. He's going a minute 38 for his first 100 fly. Long course 100 fly. Turning at the 150 mark with a 135.27. It's Jack Clancy. It's the last 50 of the last 200 fly of the evening. It's Saturday night, and they're swimming a 200 long course fly. It is illegal to have more fun than this, ladies and gentlemen. And here comes Jack Clancy, heading home. And Jack Clancy winning the event with a 2:10.94. Will Trotman coming in second with a 2:20.15. Next up is the consolation final of event 55, the girls 11-12 100-meter butterfly. Madam Referee. Swimming in the consolation final of event 55, the girls 11-12 100-meter butterfly. In lane 1, Madison Devine from the Wahoos. Lane 2, Nelly Zerolo from What. Lane 3, Catherine Grant from What. Lane 4, Olivia Johnson from Wahoos. Lane 5, Kayla Eckhoff from Rack. And lane 6, Eloise Blumen from Wahoos. It's Catherine Grant turning first, followed by Olivia Johnson in lanes 3 and 4. And Catherine Grant's going to win the heat with a 1:23.81. Followed closely by Olivia Johnson and Nelly Zerolo. This is the championship final for event 55, the girls 11-12 100-meter butterfly. Madam Referee. Swimming in the championship final of event 55, the girls 11-12 100-meter butterfly. In lane 1, Vivian Walsh from Wahoos. Lane 2, Sophia Milak from Rack. Lane 3, Olivia Maltz from Wahoos. Lane 4, Viv Volanek from What. Lane 5, Mary Kelly from Rack. And lane 6, Sadie Rubin from Charter Oak. And it's neck and neck going into the wall. Olivia Maltz and Viv Volanek, followed closely by Sophia Milak. Olivia Maltz turning it on, but here comes Sophia Milak and Viv Volanek. Olivia Maltz taking the lead, pulling out ahead. She's going to win this one with a 1:10.03. Olivia Maltz takes the event. Next up, the consolation final for event 56, the boys 11-12 100-meter butterfly. Madam Referee. Swimming in the consolation final of event 56, the boys 11-12 100-meter butterfly. In lane 1, Dennis Crute from Wahoo's. Lane 2, Kevin Wu from Charter Oak. Lane 3, Ryan Migiano from Wahoo's. Lane 4, Alistair Libertine from Wahoo's. Lane 5, Robbie Matthews from Bulldog. And lane 6, Evan Zhu from What. Turning first is Kevin Wu from Charter Oak, followed by Evan Zhu in lane 6. Alistair Libertine coming on strong here for the Wilton Wahoos in lane 3. Trying to hold off Evan Zhu in lane 6. It's Alistair and Evan. Who's going to take it? And it's Ryan Migiano with a 1:23.69. Next up, the championship final of event 56, the boys 11-12 100-meter butterfly. Madam Referee. Swimming in the championship finals of the event 56, the boys 11-12 100-meter butterfly. In lane 1, Henry Gimby from Wahoo's. Lane 2, Marco Kovac from What. Lane 3, Gabrielle Narcisuk from What. Lane 4, Ivan Turian from Charter Oak. Lane 5, Max Farabee from Rack. And lane 6, Matthew Cunningham from the Wilton Wahoos. It's Nazarzuk touching first from What, followed closely by Matthew Cunningham in lane 6 and Henry Ginby in lane 1. Gabriel Narzazuk out to a commanding lead from What. And Gabriel Narzuk with a 1:13.28, followed by Matthew Cunningham with a 1:15.94, and Henry Gimby with a 1:17.88. The pool is going to be open for another 5-minute break. If anybody wants to play Sharks and Minnows, meet at the deep end. Next up, the Splash and Dash, the crowd favorite. This is event 2029, the girls 1400 meter freestyle. This is the consolation final. Madam Referee. Swimming in the consolation final of event 29, the girls 1400 meter freestyle. In lane 1, Hannah von Steenberg from Wahoos. Lane 2, Abby Horton from Wahoos. Lane 3, Cassidy Horrell from Rack. Lane 4, Marin Brooks from Wahoos. Lane 5, Misha Kovac from What. And lane 6, Avery Kelly from Rack. First of the 50 is Abby Horton, followed by Hannah von Steenberg, both from Wahoos. Who's going to bring it home? Who's got the finishing kick? Abby Horton climbing. Slightly farther ahead of the pack is Abby Horton in lane 2 from the Wahoos. And it's Abby Horton with a 1:04.94, followed by Mishka Kovac from What. This is the championship final for event 29, the girls 1400 meter freestyle. Madam Referee. Swimming in the championship final of event 29, the girls 1400 meter freestyle. In lane 1, Chloe Archibald from Rack. Lane 2, Dalia Katra from Rack. Lane 3, Savannah Bauer from What. Lane 4, Marie Lumen from Rack. Lane 5, Ellie Griffin from Rack. And lane 6, West Bull from Wahoos. Savannah Bowers out in a 28.19, followed by Marie Lumen from Rack with a 30.95. Savannah Bowers crushing it in the 100 freestyle. She's going to break a minute. 58.50 in the 100 meter freestyle. Savannah Bowers from What. Next up, the championship final for event 30. Excuse me, the consolation final for event 30. The boys 1400 meter freestyle. Madam Referee. Swimming in the consolation final of event 30. The boys 1400 meter freestyle. In lane 1, Daniel Hickey from Wahoos. Lane 2, Dylan Isakoff from What. Lane 3, Kurt Jeschke from Wahoos. Lane 4, Connor Fega from What. Lane 5, Nicholas Turian from What. And lane 6, Kostas Rekavikias from What. Connor Fega turning first from What with a 30.63, followed by Kurt Jeschke with a 31.17, and Nicholas Turian from What with a 31.42. It's Vega trying to hold off Jeschke here with Dylan Isakoff close on their heels. Who's got the finishing kick coming into the wall? It's Connor Fega from What, half a length ahead and pulling. And Connor Fega's going to take it with a 104. This is the championship final for event 30, the boys 1400 meter freestyle. Madam Referee. Swimming in the championship final of event 30, the boys 1400 meter freestyle. In lane 1, Luke Adams from Wahoos. Lane 2, Matthew Kroll from What. Lane 3, Stingray Sanchez from Wahoos. Lane 4, Alec Erickson from Ridgefield. Lane 5, Gregory Pinchbeck from Wahoo's. And lane 6, Harrison Strupp from What? Stingray's out fast. He went 49.48, but that was short course. Be a heck of a thing if he went that long course, folks. Stingray's out in a 26.86. Powering through. Stingray Sanchez coming in. And it's Stingray Sanchez taking it with a 56.26. Next up, the consolation final for event 31, the girls 15 and over 100 meter freestyle. Madam Referee. Swimming in the consolation finals of event 31, the girls 15 and over 100 meter freestyle. In lane 1, Juliet Arisiaba from Rack. Lane 2, Mackenzie Gray from Wahoo's. Lane 3, Jenny Liu from What? Lane 4, Amelia Peterson from Charter Oak. Lane 5, Anya Kangatira from Wahoo's. And lane 6, Megan Joe from What? This is anybody's race here, folks. We got Amelia Peterson and Jenny Liu coming in hot, followed by Mackenzie Gray. And it's Amelia Peterson taking it from Oak with a 104.50. Next up, the championship final of event 31, the girls 15 and over 100 meter freestyle. Referee. Swimming in the championship final of event 31, the girls 15 and over 100 meter freestyle. In lane 1, Miriam Yule from What? Lane 2, Bridget Kelly from Rack. Lane 3, Lily Archibald from Rack. Lane 4, Riley Anderson from What? Lane 5, Ava Ward from Rack. And lane 6, Abigail King from Rack. At the 50, Riley Anderson taking it out fast, followed by Lily Archibald and Ava Ward. It's Lily Archibald with a great turn there, coming out ahead. Pulling ahead of Riley Anderson from What? Lily Archibald from Rack. Half a body length ahead. Can she hold on? Yes. Lily Archibald taking it from Rack with a 58.02, followed by Riley Anderson from What? With a 58.36. Next up is the consolation final for event 32, the boys 15 and over 100 meter freestyle. Madam Referee. Swimming in the consolation final of event 32, the boys 15 and over 100 meter freestyle. In lane 1, Tuddy Westcott from Rack. Lane 2, Robert Riccobon from What? Lane 3, Gavin Lamb from Wahoo's. Lane 4, Ozzy Andrews from Wahoo's. Lane 5, Rocco Guglielmo from Charter Oak. And lane 6, Arjun Padwal from Charter Oak. Ozzy, Gavin, and Rocco turn in first, followed by Teddy in lane 1. Right now, it looks like Ozzy with a slight lead on Gavin, but Gavin's holding on. Ozzie Andrews, as we come into the flag, slightly ahead of Gavin Lamb. And Ozzie Andrews is going to win the heat with a 58.91, followed by Gavin Lamb with a 1 minute 11. Next up is the championship final for event 32, the boys 15 and over 100 meter freestyle. Madam Referee. Swimming in the championship final for event 32, the boys 15 and over 100 meter freestyle. In lane 1, Eric Ding from Wahoos. Lane 2, Mason Rubin from Charter Oak. Lane 3, Andrew Villani from Watt. Lane 4, Jake Mercer from Wahoos. Lane 5, Connor Zhu from Wahoos. And lane 6, Derek Yin from Rack. Jake Mercer followed by Connor Zhu and Mason Rubin at the 50. And coming into the flags, it's Jake Mercer trying to hold off Mason Rubin in lane 2. Here comes Jake. Finishing strong under the flags with a 55.69. That's Jake Mercer, followed by Mason Rubin with a 57.11. Timers, your legs must be tired from just standing in one place. Why don't you head to the other side of the pool? Stretch your legs. Yeah, timers, you got to go to the other side of the pool for the 50. Timers to the other side of the pool for the 50. This is the consolation final for event 59, the girls 11-12 50 meter backstroke. Madam Referee. Swimming in the consolation final for event 59, the girls 11-12 50 meter backstroke. In lane 1, Catherine Grant from Watt. Lane 2, Maddie Tracy from Rack. Lane 3, Allie Garofalo from Rack. Lane 4, Madison Devine from Wahoos. Lane 5, Chloe Highland from Wahoos. And lane 6, Vivian Walsh from Wahoos. And touching first in lane 1 is Catherine Grant with a 38.52. Next up, the championship final for event 59, the girls 11-12 50 meter backstroke. Madam Referee. Swimming in the championship final of event 59, the girls 11-12 50-meter backstroke. In lane 1, Jalen Wan from Watt. Lane 2, Lily Bender from Rock. Lane 3, Viv Volanek from Watt. Lane 4, Charlie Palmer from Rack. Lane 5, Delaney Gorelnik from Rack. And lane 6, Summer Miller from Watt. Next up, the consolation final of event 60, the boys 11-12 50-meter backstroke. Madam Referee. First alternate, Kirian from Fairfield. Not here. Riley Peabody from Wahoos. Come on down. You are the owner of a... No, he's not here? Oh. Well, no 50 back for him. Madam Referee. Swimming in the consolation final of event 60, the boys 11-12 50-meter backstroke. In lane 1, Robbie Matthews from Bulldog. Lane 2, Dennis Crud from Wahoos. Lane 3, Andreas Sid from Rack. Lane 4, Ryan Michiano from Wahoos. Lane 5, Nicholas Kaknevikius from Wahoos. Next up, the championship final of event 60, the boys 11-12 50-meter backstroke. Madam Referee. Swimming in the championship final of event 60, the boys 11-12 50-meter backstroke. In lane 1, Nick Winslow from Wahoos. Lane 2, Liam King from Rack. Lane 3, Gabriel Nazusek from Watt. Lane 4, Matthew Cunningham from Wahoos. Lane 5, James Yan from Charter Oak. And lane 6, Kevin Wu from Charter Oak. Gabriel Nazarzuk is going to touch first from Watt with a 35.03. Timers, we miss you. Please come back to the other end of the pool. If you see a timer on their way down, be sure to thank them. It's Give a Timer a High Five night here at the Wilton Y. As they pass you, feel free to give a timer one or more high five. Next up, the consolation final for event 33, the girls 13-14 200-meter backstroke. Madam Referee. Swinging the consolation final of event 33, the girls 13-14 200-meter backstroke. In lane 1, Raya Londano from Wahoos. Lane 2, Hannah von Steenberg from Wahoos. Lane 3, Valeria Flores from Wahoos. Lane 4, Sophia Liang from Charter Oak. Lane 5, Ellie Griffin from Rack. And lane 6, Avery Kelly from Rack. At the 100, it's Hannah von Steenberg and Valeria Flores. And it looks like Hannah von Steenberg is going to come in first, followed closely by Valeria Flores and Raya Londano. And Hannah von Steenberg does in fact touch first with a 2:53.58. Next up is our championship final for event 33, the girls 13-14 200-meter backstroke. Madam Referee. Swimming in the championship final of event 33, the girls 13-14 200-meter backstroke. In lane 1, Kylie Gray from the Wahoos. Lane 2, Alana Ward from Rack. Lane 3, Bella Zarolo from What. Lane 4, Abby Horton from the Wahoos. Lane 5, Maren Brooks from the Wahoos. And lane 6, Sophie Jacobstein from Rack. Bellozarola from What out to a commanding lead. Coming in for the first 100 of this 200 backstroke with a 109.62. Abby Horton turning second with a 115.13. Bellozarola is going to win it with a 224.29. Swimming in the consolation final of event 34, the boys 1400 meter backstroke. In lane 1, Harry Zhao from Wahoo's. Lane 2, Christopher Prills from Rack. Lane 3, Alex Erickson from Ridgefield. Lane 4, Nicholas Turian from What. Lane 5, Daniel Hickey from Wahoo's. And lane 6, Luke Adams from Wahoo's. Nicholas Shuren from Watt's going to touch first with Alex Erickson from Rack close behind. But there goes Nicholas. Good turn, and he's pulling ahead. Christopher Prills, a final kick here in the last 100 of this 200 backstroke. And he's going to finish first. Christopher Prills finishing with a 2:45.63. Swimming in the championship final of event 34, the boys 13-14 200-meter backstroke. Madam referee. Swimming in the championship final of event 34, the boys 13-14 200-meter backstroke. In lane 1, Graham Muncie from Ridgefield. Lane 2, Gregory Pinchbeck from Wahoo's. Lane 3, Neil Kelly from Ridgefield. Lane 4, Griffin Riebling from Ridgefield. Lane 5, Harrison Strupp from Watt. And lane 6, Philippe Talar from Watt. Griff Riebling out to a slight lead from Rack. About half a body length ahead of the field. Coming into the 100. Riebling touches at the 100 with a 1:15.37. Followed closely by Harrison Strupp from Watt and Neil Kelly from Rack. Riebling in lane 4 from Rack is still in the lead, followed by Neil Kelly from Rack. And Riebling's going to touch first with a 2:36.05, followed by Kelly with a 2:39.42, and Pinchbeck and Strupp. This is the consolation final of event 35, the girls 15 and over 200-meter backstroke. Madam referee. Swimming in Heat 1, the consolation final for the girls 15 and over 200 meter backstroke. In lane 2, Maya Cruiser from Wahoo's. Lane 3, Megan Lucier from Wahoo's. Lane 4, Lily Wagner from Ridgefield. And lane 5, Sarah West from Wahoo's. It's Megan Lucier, followed by Maya Cruiser, as we come into the first 100 here of the girls 15 and over 200 backstroke. Megan's going to turn first with a 118.95, followed by Maya with a 122.71. Megan Lucier is going to take the heat in a 2:44.79, followed by Maya Cruiser with a 2:49.90. Now the championship final for event 35, the girls 15 and over 200 meter backstroke. Madam Referee. Swimming in the championship final, the girls 15 and over 200 meter backstroke. In lane 1, Maggie Peterson from Charter Oak. Lane 2, Julieta Retsieba from Rack. Lane 3, Charlotte Sorensen from Watt. Lane 4, Riley Anderson from Watt. Lane 5, Teresa Silveri from Rack. And lane 6, Ruthie Ricobon from Watt. Sorensen, Anderson, and Arensabia are going to touch pretty close to one another for the first 100 of this 200 backstroke. It's Anderson, slight lead over Sorensen. Sorensen and Anderson are going to touch within 0.05 of each other. Really working for it on this, the last girls' event of the evening. Sorensen with a slight lead on Anderson. Can she maintain going into the flags? And it's Sorensen just touching out Anderson with a 2:33.50. Anderson with a 2:34.16. Swimming in the consolation final of event 36, the boys 15 and over 200-meter backstroke. Madam Referee. Swimming in the consolation final of event 36, the boys 15 and over 200-meter backstroke. In lane 2, Jude Matthews from Charter Oak. Lane 3, Alex Nguyen from Wahoos. Lane 4, Arjun Padwal from Charter Oak. Alex Nguyen touching first with a 2:42.76. This is the championship final for event 36, the boys 15 and over 200-meter backstroke. Madam Referee. Swimming in the final heat of the evening, the championship final of event 36, the boys 15 and over 200-meter backstroke. In lane 1, Lucas Fontana from Wahoos. Lane 2, Stefan Weber from Ridgefield. Lane 3, Tommy Lucier from Wahoo's. Lane 4, Hirsch Iyer from Wahoo's. Lane 5, AJ Yee from Wahoo's. And lane 6, Rocco Guglielmo from Charter Oak. AJ and Tommy have a slight lead on Hirsch here going into the 100. AJ's going to touch just ahead of Tommy. Tommy trying to work the walls. And it's AJ slightly holding off Hirsch and Tommy. Hirsch coming on strong, the final 50. The last 25, it's AJ and Hirsch. Hirsch is turning it on. Final kick.